Hello everyone, welcome to a new video for the intraday for Nasdaq and SPX 500. We're gonna see what happened after the live stream today. Of course, I raised a warning, be careful. We have topped for Nasdaq, of course, and we might be looking for something towards the downside as 1-2 wave 3 massive towards the downside. And this is exactly what we see right now. And of course, there are some probabilities to be estimated and to be tested. In case, of course, in a very wave A, B, and a C extended, wave C can be, of course, a possibility, but very, very rare, especially that we have topped for most of the structure in the micro and the macro here. And we are looking potentially at a wave, at a wave 3 here and not a wave C. And that means, of course, we might have start, of course, the downtrend toward the downside for Nasdaq and SPX here. Potentially, of course, for a wave 2 here in Nasdaq, and that because, of course, we have topped a major wave 1. By all means, here's this major wave 1. Gonna need a wave 2 sooner or later, of course. We're gonna need to reach the 0.38, which is exactly around the 20k 500. And we have started potentially, of course, this impulse towards the downside. Now, what I would like to mention, of course, for Nasdaq here, after, of course, is this 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 potentially finished even as, of course, an impulse. We might see, of course, a wave 2, wave 3, wave 4, and a 5 continuation toward the downside. And that might be, of course, a big wave A here, that it is unfolding potentially A, B, and a C, or even bigger 1, 2, 3, 4, and a 5. For a bigger wave A, meaning, of course, on a bigger picture, you might reach after, of course, 3 waves towards the downside. Well, even this will not be even enough, of course, to reach this area. So we might need a huge impulse here towards the downside as A, B, and a C, guys. So we have to be careful, guys. Of course, we have to keep the eyes open. Now, we are still testing. Of course, I know this is very impulsive. Even on the 15-minute chart is very clear. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. But, of course, we're going to keep the eye open. If we have hit our blue box for wave 2, we're going to see what's going to be the reaction. If we're going to have, of course, 1, 2, 3 breaking the high here, this is a signal that we're moving for higher again. And that might be, of course, a big wave ABC. Okay, then we have to accept it, extended wave C. But, of course, this signal is not given yet. And that means, of course, the probability is still going for lower prices right now. If we go to the SPX 500, we can see as well we're moving toward the downside after the top here for wave 5 as expected in the blue boxes. So everything is perfect. I would say we have hit perfectly the levels and we're moving towards the downside. Currently on the SPX, you are looking here also at an impulse 1, 2, 3, 4, and a 5 potentially continuation for lower prices. Now on SPX, the difference is you are looking here at a wave 3 rather than a wave 5 and finishing wave 1, and you're looking here for wave 4 in the yellow count. Now the yellow count, of course, it can have a wave 4, which it might be a deep wave 4 in a zigzag towards the downside, maybe even until the 0.5 fib level. Of course, the invalidation for such a scenario for SPX is still very, very far from there. So invalidation of bullish is exactly over there. So we might still see, of course, the market surge back again towards the upside, but we still need simply, of course, a move towards the downside, a correction, wave 4, and then continuation for higher prices sooner or later. Yep, so that was it for SPX and Nasdaq. Thank you for watching. Thank you for your likes and comments, and see you in the next one. Bye-bye.